OTAN, Outreach and Technical Assistance Network.
Northstar Digital Literacy Assessments 2.0. OTAN Technology and Distance Learning Symposium 2019.
I'm very good. My name is Adam Kieffer. I come all the way from St. Paul, Minnesota. Wow. Yeah, I'm an exotic species here at the conference. Yeah, I work for St. Paul Public Schools. I live in Minneapolis, but I work in St. Paul from the Twin Cities. We have a lot of snow. In fact, just to get some sympathy for you guys, I took some pictures. Yeah, I know exotic world that I'm from. I did meet a woman earlier at lunchtime. She's from the Sierras, and she said they got like 25 feet of snow. Is that real? In the mountains? That's incredible to me. Just to tell you just about myself, why I'm here for a minute. I'm going to talk to you about the Northstar Digital Literacy Assessments and the standards that go along with them. Has anyone in here heard of them, or do you use them at your site or your program or your consortium? One person? Okay. Two people? You've heard of them? Okay, you heard about it? You're curious? Okay, somebody did some advertising for me. Great. What I'm hoping to provide you with is just real simple, okay? What are they? They've recently been updated. Some of them have been updated. I'll tell you about that in a minute. How can you use them as a teacher? What's the benefit of them? How could students use them as a credential or something to add on their resume? You can learn about becoming a testing site. It's cheap, and the benefit is high, in my opinion. And then I'm going to give you time. I don't see a lot of devices, but you can use your phone for some of the assessments. I'm going to give you some time to actually explore it, because one thing I like as a person who attends a session is actually time to like see it and touch it, so that when I go home back to my busy work life, I don't have time sometimes. You know what I mean? I make a note and then I'm like, I don't have time. So I'm going to give us maybe the last 10, 15 minutes of the session to try it out, and then like as you're trying it, I'll come around and just answer your questions, or I'll answer them from up front. Does that sound okay? Okay, very simple agenda. I know I have a lot of words here. This is so low. Can you guys see? Can you guys like see all this stuff? I have no handouts because everything, everybody's slide, every presenter's slide is going to be on the OTAN website. I figured you could just, if you really want it, you can go grab it. Otherwise, shoot me an email right now, and I'll just send you the Google Slides when I'm done, or as soon as you email me, hubsadam@gmail.com. It's Hubs because I work at a school called the Hubs Center for Lifelong Learning in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're the biggest ABE site in Minnesota. We serve all of the ABE type learners. If you have a type, we serve them all in one space. We do have some satellite classes that happen. We are the #1 distance learning program producing hours in the state. In December of 2018, we earned 5,300 distance learning hours from our program. Just distance learning, that's not face-to-face classes, just to give you some context. So we serve a lot of learners. We have a robust and strong distance learning program. I'm our distance learning coordinator. I'm also a classroom teacher 3 hours a day. I wear another hat. I'm on our distance learning team. I wear another hat, which is why I'm here with you today, which is I'm part of our statewide distance learning team, policy, professional development, all that stuff. That's part of another part of my job. So I'm a full-time guy who wears several hats. So thank you for having me to beautiful California. I always love coming to California. Okay, let's get started. So just real quick, it was a homegrown, the assessments were homegrown in St. Paul. We had this need, people have digital literacy needs. There's no uniform way to assess them. There's no uniform way to even talk about them. So I'm talking like 10 years ago. So our school districts, our libraries, our ABE consortium got together. We started getting some partners together, and we said we need some standards so that teachers can consistently instruct on digital literacy. And then we need to develop some assessments, and we need to put them online, and we need to do this soon. So some funding, raising people got some funds, and it started to happen. It took a couple years, but we made it happen. I'm going to show you a 1-minute video to give you some context, okay?
The Northstar Digital Literacy Assessments were created to assess computer skills. In 2010, The St. Paul Public Library and the St. Paul Community Literacy Consortium in St. Paul, Minnesota, began a community-based process to define the skills needed to thrive in today's technological world, and the project has been growing rapidly ever since. Now anyone can take an assessment for free at digitalliteracyassessment.org. When you finish an assessment, you get a results page showing what skills you've mastered and what skills need improvement. If you'd like to show others what you know, you can take an assessment at a testing location under proctor supervision. Then, if you score 85% or higher, you'll earn a certificate. The Northstar certificates demonstrate that you have computer skills. You can show your certificates to employers or list them on your resume. There are over 500 testing locations, and assessments have been taken over 3 million times.
So just a little bit of context. Okay, it's been growing like exponentially. Programs are realizing they exist, adopting them, and which I hope will happen to some of you today. Let's keep going here. So just real quick, the video, how it works is, it's 10 online assessments. They demonstrate skills. It's a show what you know kind of situation. In order to pass, you got to get 85% correct. It leads to a physical certificate that you can print, or it's a PDF saved forever in the admin side system. And or it can also be a digital badge. Do any of you guys assign digital badges to your learners? It has not really caught on in the mainstream yet. I don't know if it ever will, but it's a possibility, and it can go with that learner. To learn more about badges, I got a link in here a little bit later. So it can provide it's a demonstrable way to say, look, employer, or look, someone, or look, in Minnesota we have 2 options for, we don't have credit recovery, we have GED and adult diploma. So to get the adult diploma, you have to be able to pass several of these assessments, for example, to demonstrate some digital literacy skills. And then you can use them also as pre and post tests for basic computer classes, which I know happen at many of your sites. Do you guys have some sort of basic like computer class at your sites? Yes, no? Okay, so that's another way that they could be used is like, come into my class, first thing you do is you're gonna take a basic computer skills assessment. It's okay if you don't pass. I'm gonna get a printout, which I'll show you in a little bit. You'll get a little printout of skills that students passed on the assessment and skills that they need to work on. It's like green and red, and that can help you as an instructor to get a sense of who your learners are in your class and what skills they need to address in the class. So that's just another way that people use them. Just to give you this is the PDF of all the standards. Oh, I might as well just open it here real quick, just to show you what it looks like. This is something that everybody should have as an instructor in their back pocket, in my opinion. So this is what the standards actually look like. They were updated. They were rigorously gone through and updated for stuff like information literacy, like leaving a digital footprint on the web, all that stuff, the higher order stuff, not just moving a mouse. That's what we used to be talking about, although we still, of course, need to be doing that, of course. But like higher level stuff, like being careful what you post because it lives on the web forever, just things like that. So they'll have a list under basic computer skills on the first page, there are 18 standards. So you'll see under here, drag and drop. You'll see identify types of mice, okay? So that's the basic stuff. Many of us have been teaching for years, and it's still essential, and it's still needed. But as you go through the standards, you'll see different ones. Essential computer skills, you'll see using email, Windows, Mac OS, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, social media. This is a big one. This is a newish one. So identify popular social media, recognize information, post on social media. There's a little bit about understanding like what's legit and what's not. So these are things that you can use as in my opinion, any teacher should be involved in the instruction of digital literacy, no matter what you're teaching. Something should be happening in the digital world in your instruction. And and as students learn, I know the screen is so small, I'm sorry. That's too big. But so you can just see these are standards, and these will just help you as an instructor. It takes the hard work of, okay, what do I need to teach, or what? It's all here for you. It's all ready to go. Yeah. Yeah. The link is from my slides, and it's just free for everybody to download. Yep. Absolutely. And you can also find them here. That's where the link points you to. But yes, I have it on the slide. So using technology in daily life, this is stuff people are talking about, like a lot of those ISTE standards. You guys heard that acronym of that organization? They're at the next level. They're talking about a lot. I mean, all the stuff that I feel like, I don't know when I say we, who exactly I mean, but that I do, and that we want our learners to be able to fully engage in. Some of that is touched on here at a pretty basic level. Those ISTE standards go way up to stuff that I don't even know how to do yet, too. But so this is stuff that's more manageable for many of our learners. Of course, not all of our learners. So the standards. In Minnesota, we have a three-tiered standard, or not three-tiered. We have three standards that we pull from. Do you guys pull from college and career readiness? Yes. In California? Yes. Okay, that is like big deal in Minnesota. Our PD people are like, we're doing CCROS. You got to be working on it. It's got to be part of how you're doing instruction. Digital literacy skills in Minnesota, we use these because they're homegrown and they're already there. And then we have the soft skills and professional stuff. So this is kind of just how we frame ABE instruction, all that stuff. And the more information can be found here if you want to dig deep in this stuff. Tons of great resources. In my opinion, Minnesota does a really good job of providing like an easy way to access lots of good resources. We have a really great PD system, in my opinion, in Minnesota. I think you guys do in California, although I've not really experienced it personally. Yes. I think a lot of the things, there's a big Venn diagram overlap on Word and Google Docs. Gotcha. You know what I mean? Yeah. The undo button looks like the undo button. Yeah. The file menu is there. So it's a good question, but they've left it up to Google to take care of their own, to assess that side. Google, I know, has their own training system. Like you have, what's her name? Melinda Holt, right? She's gone through her own process of so they provide that. So they made the decision years ago to let Google to continue to provide that. So the assessments are designed for educators to do two things. One, assess learners' current digital literacy skills, so sort of like a pretest, right? What do you have now? And then two, based on that pretest, identify your skill gaps. So you don't have to just kind of wander around the classroom for 5 hours getting to know your learners. You can give them a couple assessments, and then it'll explicitly lay out the skills that your learners didn't pass on the test. It's really best, and it's designed to be taken in a proctored environment, and I'll talk about a little bit more about what that means. The website here is public. You can go on, and I'll let you. That's what you'll be able to use at the end of our time today. You can go on and try an assessment. It's not going to give you a certificate if you pass. It might give you. I think it gives you a list of skills, like a green and a red, of what you passed on the assessment and what you didn't. But it's really meant to be taken in a proctored environment, and you have to be an approved testing site, and you have to have approved proctors to do that, and I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. It's not an intense process. I'll talk to you about it in a minute. The assessments are ADA compliant. They all have closed captioning available. You can zoom in and out. There are 10 assessments that cover these 3 domains. So pop quiz. Is this, let me go to the next slide. So again, you got to pass 85 on a proctored assessment. You must be completed a official testing location. And then the badges, you can learn more about badges here, open badges. This is what a certificate looks like. You can have one, if you pass one of the assessments, it's listed here. You can also print out a certificate that lists if they pass multiple assessments or not. So you can print them out one by one as they pass them, or you could wait until the end of your class, see how many they pass. You can, if the student disappears and then they come back and they say, hey, Adam, I passed 6 of the assessments. Can you print out my certificate? You can log in, print it out, even if they disappeared from your program. So you could have up to 10 certificates, like physical printed certificates, or they can carry the digital badge, or you could print up to all 10 on one certificate. Industry or recognize. So this is not like a Microsoft product. It's a product that's grown out of ABE and libraries. So there's no, like, Google hasn't come and stamped them, and Bill Gates hasn't come and stamped them, because they have their own systems for training. These are more, and they have their own assessments built into their training. What we have found is that people who show up to job interviews, the employers are like, what the heck is this? This is awesome, and are interested in it. But I mean, it's not stamped by anybody, but what I mean is, it's not like if they're gonna go apply at Macy's or Target, the HR person at Target's probably not gonna know what are the Northstar standards. However, if they show up with something like, oh, I took a computer class and I passed this assessment, that's gonna be like a +1 on their, the HR person's check sheet. So send them through OTAN. Okay, that's really good news. So you can become a proctor and a testing site through OTAN. I did not know that. I wish I'd known that. I'm so glad you're here. So ELLs can do this. They probably need to be at a CASAS 200-ish to be able to do all the reading. Okay. That needs to be, like, there's a varying level of reading that comes with all of them. No, they all have audio, but sometimes you have to physically read something on the screen and click on it. They have to know, you click on the icon and they'll see the word, click on the icon, but they might not know that word. You know what I mean? So, but that's part of the assessment too. So there is a literacy component as well as a digital literacy component. I would probably recommend around CASAS 200 and above. I know that excludes some. I'm just shooting as a general idea. Of course, there's going to be a range for your learner. You might have a learner who's super digitally literate, who's a computer professor from Russia, whose only challenge is the English, and they might pass it on their first go because they know what's going on. I don't know. So you have to kind of be the arbiter of who can take the assessments. That's a great question, though. Thank you for asking. There's a clock. Okay. Yeah, so we just kind of touched on this. Our learners who get these, they are so proud. And then we have several classes where learners build portfolios at my program. And they love throwing them in there. And I swear to God, probably 80% of our learners who get some sort of credential through our ABE program, they'll bring the folder they made in class to their interview. And we've gotten feedback that, like, the person who interviewed me was so impressed. I had several things that I could demonstrate. They know about our school now. Other things that programs around the country are starting to do is just to assess their own employees. If they don't want to pay big bucks, because there are other assessments out there that cost a lot of money. Northstar is really cheap. I'll tell you about that in a second. It's $500 for a year, and that's for a program. But if you buy as a consortium, there are other pricing options, and that's unlimited users and assessments. And there's a huge admin side, which I'll mention in a minute, that we try to keep the costs the bare minimum just to keep the program open. And this is something that people are starting to do in Minnesota, is to assess their own ABE staff. Do you have any right to teach digital literacy skills if you don't have them yourself? That's a good question, right? Are you BSing your way through your class? Let's find out. So I got a smiley face on that one, but for me it's more of like a serious face. This is the Minnesota passive aggressive. You may have heard about Minnesota nice. Yeah. Curricula. This is a big question that we get all the time. So there is no Northstar curricula that we have made that connects directly to the assessments. However, other people have done good stuff, and we have them listed here on a page, on our Northstar page. So again, the assessments are not curricula, they're just assessments. Where are you now? Where are you after you completed some instruction? What are your gaps? What skills do you have? What skills you need to work on? Instruction is left up to the instructor. However, there is a job opening right now for a Northstar Digital Literacy Curriculum writer. I think it closes very soon. But I wanted to put it here because it's open right now. They're hiring a 20-hour to 40-hour a week, I think between 3 and 8 month curriculum writer, because the need has been so, or the demand from people has been so high to have an exactly matched curricula, like out of the box that people can just use. So that's going to happen. They got some funding for that. So that's going to happen, but that's not going to be released for some X amount of months in the future. Benefits to becoming a testing location. So you can award certificates and the badges when they pass them. In the future, as the learners pass more, you can also award them in the future. They have a great online and technical support. People respond typically by email super quick. I actually know the people who respond, and they're awesome. Testing locations, you can access detailed reports about all the activity. I don't want to bring it up here because it's not useful sometimes to just look at tables and charts until you've actually used the program. But the behind the scenes is really robust. The learner management system curricula is coming end of this year probably. So here's the fee. I'm not trying to hide it. $500 for programs. Library systems cost more, but it's still pretty cheap, especially if you have 12 libraries in your town. Yeah. If you just want to go to the public website, you won't get a certificate and you won't get any user data. If you want to just go to the public website and take an assessment, you can, but you won't get any data, so you won't be able to print a certificate for that learner if they pass.
Does it tell you if you passed anything?
It gives you a list of skills you're good with and skills you need to work on. That's it. Yeah. However, what we really don't recommend is students taking the test 10 times in a row, because then they're going to pass. You know what I mean? If they just go to the public site and just take the test, they're not learning anything. They need your instruction. They need you. That's your job. That's our job. Yeah. It's built into it's its own LMS. Yeah, it's not like Schoology or something like that. It's its own way to store data and everything's searchable. And as long as they've had them, we have records of them. I can go back and search for my learners 5 years ago and pull them up. Okay, so the proctor training, so to be a person who gives the test, that's what the proctor means. You're the basic computer class teacher. You want to give that test to your learner. You go through a 20 to 30 minutes, you just log in. They send you a login. You go through a 20-minute, 30-minute. It's my colleague Jenna Rose. She's super nice. She's talking to you. She's showing you videos. She's showing you screencasts, where to click. Here's what you do. It's so well done. I'm super impressed. I had nothing to do with it. But it's really well done. When they redid it this past year, they redid the whole training. I had to go through it again and relearn how to proctor because some of the process changed and their website changed. And the reason everything changed is because everything was Flash-based before. There's a couple of, and I'll show you in just a couple more slides, there's a couple of the assessments that are still Flash-based. They are being worked on, and by the end of actually in the next few months, they will all not be Flash-based. They will all be HTML5. So usable on any device, if that makes sense. Okay. Right now, I think 7 of the 10 are mobile ready. 3 of them, I think you need to be on a PC or Mac. Individual logins, lots of learner data in the LMS. Just some current statistics real quick. There's 647 sites, mostly in the US, but also internationally, that use it. That's growing every week. This was, I think it was 643 like last week. This is how many of assessments have been taken. So this is from the public site. You can see this is much more than the proctored. 51% pass when it's proctored. They've issued this many digital badges. Most people just want the certificate. Most people don't care about the badges, but some people do. And in just a minute, we're gonna go to the website and I'll let you guys use it. So 2 of them were just updated. 2 more are gonna be updated very, very soon. There's a webinar you can watch about if you wanna learn more about the update. This is their support email if you want to email them directly. Any question, they'll be glad to respond to you. This is my email. I have it up here. This is the website. Why don't you guys go there right now? And as you have it up on your devices, I'll just kind of point out a couple things, and then you can try it for 10 minutes before we go. Is that okay? We have plenty of time left. So pull it up on your device. And I'll just kind of point out a few things, and then I'll just let you play for a while. Is that all right? Okay. So digitalliteracyassessment.org. You don't need the stuff, as you probably know. Yes. If you go to the assessment, the first thing is piano music, because it wants to make sure that you're hearing the audio, because the audio is really key, especially for many of our ELL learners. So you might want to just turn down your volume a little bit. I really should have requested a computer lab for this. I was just assuming more people would have their laptops, but it's fine. You can use your phone. It's fine. It's just small. Can I take this down? I'm supposed to make a slide telling you to evaluate me in this session. Here it is. I'll leave it there for a minute. I made it about as big as I could, if you want to.
It's also in our packet.
Yeah, it's in your packet, I know, but we got very clear instructions as presenters to make this slide. So I did. I'm a rule follower. So guys, if you scroll down on the homepage, can I just point it out real quick? If you see updated, they're mobile ready.
Oh, okay.
If there's no updated, they're coming really soon. They're coming so soon. These ones are coming like in the next 2 months. So if you're on your phone, do the ones that say updated. Exactly. This would be like an on-ramp. Like, you know how to open it, you know how to do text, you know how to maybe copy and paste, you know the keys. All this stuff is designed for our basic level adult learners. Yeah, so remember, this is not training. This is just a basic assessment, yeah. What are you feeling? What are you thinking now? You want to use this at your program? I hope you do. I hope that your computer instructors, if you're not that person at your school, you just shoot them connect with OTAN, connect with me, and we'll make it happen. Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming.